This is Dr. Derek Ong, and I'm very excited to bring to you this series of digital marketing management videos, which I have broken down into four little, small little pieces that you can take and in your own time to just understand about some of the things that I want to share with you about digital marketing. So if you want to get to know me, do try and subscribe to my video channel at the link below, as well as you can also find out all about me through the QR code, which is in this slide. So what am I going to cover in this 4 video series? I'm basically going to cover all these things that you see here on this list. But for this particular video, the first video, I'm only going to be covering marketing, who are consumers online, and what is a multi-channel marketing strategy, and also to think about what are some of the strategic issues and questions that we might think about. Now, I know that a lot of you are probably academics, and most of you are also dealing with your own business, and you do not want to know about the theory behind a lot of things. Yes, it's understandable, but sometimes a little bit of knowledge does go a long way by understanding and listening to our audience so that we understand where we come from and how digital marketing actually originates. Okay, so let's begin with the first part and start to think about why marketing is important. Okay, so first off, I want you to probably take some time to reflect on what kind of an online shopper do you think you are, or what kind of audience do you think you have. Now, we've got so many different types of audiences when it comes to online shopping. They could be people who are new, who've never tried online shopping before. They are very savvy, smart shoppers. They know what they want. They go for it. They know where to go. They are deal hunters. These people are just basically there waiting to find what are the best deals out there, and they do a lot of comparisons. Some people are impulsive buyers. Whenever they see there's deals, without thinking the second thought, they will straight away go and buy stuff. But very different from the deal hunters. These people will always go for the first deals that they see, and usually it's driven by an impulse to buy something that they really, really want when they search for it. And of course, there's also the rewards points hunters. They will only buy certain things if they can get cash back in return, or even certain rewards points that comes along with it. And of course, we have all those people who have never tried online shopping before and never will. Well, we have all kinds of people. So why do we want to know about why is it important to understand our shoppers? Well, we need to understand who our shoppers are so that we can at least try to reach out to as many people as possible through our digital marketing strategy. Now, let me just give you a little bit of theories that people use in digital marketing. I'm not going to go into very detail. I'm not going to be in a very lectury mode, but I do want to share with you 4 theories that people have used in the past, especially marketing academics, especially when they talk about digital marketing. So, firstly, is the game theory. Now, online video games are the rage now, especially with the young people, and a lot of people want to be engaged. So what do? Gamification is the way to go, and that's why game theory is right there. Secondly is about networking. Social media in the word means to be sociable, to find networks, to engage with people. And that is why also another theory that they use in digital marketing. It's how many networks you know, how vast your platforms can reach people. And then there's also collective intelligence theory. Collective intelligence just basically means that, well, if you remember, whenever you see a long queue in a store, if you see that a lot of people are there, you'll be thinking like, wow, why is that store so many people? It's the collective intelligence whereby when there's something good, they spread to other people, and that's why they spread the good news to other people. So people will want to, oh, you know what, maybe it's something good, maybe I should even try it. And then there's the other case of generational theory. Now, with digital marketing, you cannot discard the fact that there are people who are savvy in technology and there are people who are not savvy in technology. So you must also take into account the generational theory when it comes to digital marketing. Why is this important to us? Understanding that there is engagement, when you can use gamification, when you know about networking, and when you know about collective intelligence and also the different generations, you can now also think about, now you understand why there are different types of shoppers that you have in your groups, isn't it? Think about it. Okay, so digital marketing. Who are the internet audience and what are the consumer behaviors? You see, the study of consumer behavior and socials is a thing that is in social science discipline that a lot of people tend to discard. Because what we're trying to do is that we're trying to predict and explain a wide range of consumer decisions. For example, why do people buy certain stuff in certain places, in certain prices, and certain products? You know, and usually what we do is we use this thing called the SDP, the segmentation, targeting, and positioning, where we base on the reasonings of why people buy certain stuff is based on their background, demographic factors, and maybe other more intervening and intermediate behaviors like psychographic behaviors. And it's generally very good practice for us to understand who are these online consumers and what their profiles are. Because most of the time, if you ask a lot of people, 90% of the time people tell you they shop online because it's primarily more convenient. And in some cases, most Malaysians I know, they shop online because it's cheaper. So then as a business, you need to understand where can you reach your customers in terms of their consumer behavior journey. And this is what I mean by a consumer journey map, or we call it a consumer journey road. Now, the consumer journey starts by you getting them to be aware about something, a product that you have, piquing their interests. Yeah, if let's say that particular product or service meets their needs, and if they're interested, they will start searching for information. And once they start searching for information, if they find that your product meets their needs and really meets their qualities in terms of pricing, in terms of convenience and everything else, then they will purchase. Now, it does not stop there. What you need to do is to carry them on forward, to retain them, to keep buying even more, right? To stay longer in your website, probably to engage even more with you, and at the ultimate aim is to get them to be your advocate. Yeah. Once you retain them, you make them as your advocates for your store and for your products and services. So this is what we mean by the roadmap journey. So understanding this roadmap journey is important, but also trying to feel where are the touch points in this roadmap journey is also equally important. Now, when we create a multi-channel marketing plan, we must understand that there are many, many ways and many, many tools that we can do. So just generally, I'm going to tell you what these are. There is always the website, where you create a good website. And I'm going to cover a little bit about branding in the second video. Then there's the traditional online marketing methods. Yeah, you'll be thinking like, online marketing that's traditional? Yes, there is. People use a lot of search engines. People use a lot of displays on their websites. A lot of ads and emails affiliated. They send emails to their database of people that they already know. And then there is the social media marketing. Remember the network theory I told you about? Yeah, so they use a lot of networking. So they use social networks, blogs, video games, especially in RPG games, role-playing games. People actually sell things when they're playing games online. Would you believe it? And then there's also, you cannot discard the fact of mobile marketing as well, because people are always 24/7 moving around, and you got to find a way to make your products and services reach to the people at where they are at their convenience. So the key thing here is convenience. And of course, there's the more traditional offline marketing, which is the television, radio, newspapers, as we know. Now, the important thing is to keep the message cohesive if you're going to use a wide range or variety of tools at your disposal. Now, the consumer decision process goes and starts from the awareness point. Okay, so this particular slide that I'm showing you here basically tells you of the little tools that you can use to capture your audience at different intervals. But I want to focus more on awareness about need recognition, getting people to understand why they want to go online, why they want to buy something at your disposal. So you got to think about how to capture the audience attention right at the get-go. Now, certain strategic questions that you'll be asking about digital marketing. What plan do you want to do? What should you focus first? Should you focus on the offline? Should you focus on the mobile app? Should you focus on the desktop app? A lot of these questions asked. Well, the basic thing to understand is, where are your audience? Who are your audience? Understand your audience first. And then once you do that, once you've decided on a plan, you got to think about how to integrate these different platforms together. Like I just mentioned just now, you have many different types of platforms. So you got to find a way to link and sync all these platforms together so they can come up with a very coherent message for you. Allocating resources is important. Never put too many resources onto one basket. So for example, if let's say you have social media and then you have a website, you've got to make sure that you make certain platforms work for you more than other platforms. So do your own research about what reaches more of your own audience in certain cases. So for example, if you know that the product that you're selling does better online on social media, then spend more resources on your social media boosting rather than your website. What you can do is link your website from your social media. So if people go to your social media platform, they will go straight away to your website because there's a link there that brings them over to that site. So isn't that a much better way of doing it? Think about how you measure the effectiveness and compare the metrics from those different platforms. Something which I'm going to show you in video number 3 later on. And most importantly, how do you translate these measurements, these metrics of views, of page actions, anything that they do when they engage with your websites and social media as revenues. Okay. Now, first off, I want you to think about, what do you think is the biggest problem of digital marketing? I'm sure a lot of you have many things. Some would say that there are so much of vast information, you cannot see through the information. Well, let me just share with you that one of the biggest problems is that a lot of people do not know how to stand out properly, and also do not understand about their customers, especially their needs, their wants, their psychographics and demographics. So I'm going to take some time sharing with you a little bit about the user experience. Okay, so the user interface or the user experience basically primarily hangs on 3 things. Number 1 is the functionality, the content that you create, as well as the platform that you use. And this whole user experience is circled around the entire user interface. So the user interface actually creates the user experience for them, but it is broken down into the 3 parts, which is functionality, content, and the platform. So I'm going to just go into each of these 3 in a little bit detail. So the first one is functionality. The content strategy. So when we talk about content strategy, we're talking about producing content that speaks to volumes to your particular audience. What do they want? You got to match with what any single kind of content that you put out there, whether it's displays, whether it's video, any publications, writing, images, even voice strategy, even voice audio or podcasts. Build the content that the people want. I'm going to go more deeper into content in the next video, but basically this is what it is: building an authority that helps you establish your own relationship with your ideal customers, like creating a match. Yeah, you're going to sell yourself through that. Next is functionality. You've got to make it easy for your audience to move around the content that they have. Yeah, one of the biggest functionalities that you never ever forget when it comes to digital marketing is that you must create opportunities for them to actually want to buy your stuff, right? Always find these little nuances in the customer experience to say, would you like this, would you like that? Now, for example, Amazon, whenever you buy something on Amazon, what happens? They always tell you other people that have chosen this kind of product also bought this kind of thing. And if you go to McDonald's, whenever you order in McDonald's, they will always ask you, would you like upsize your Coke, and would you like to have fries with that? This is what we mean by cross-selling and upselling. But you must also have a platform whereby you serve your audiences well, making sure that they feel confident about buying from you, that even if they bought something wrong, that they will have an avenue for them to even complain or even at least refund their products to you. Now, a lot of companies tend to forget that customer service is very important. And customer service on digital platforms is equally more important if your functionalities is not done correctly. And then finally is also the platform. There are so many different platforms that you can use, not only on social media, but also on websites and blogs and networks. You got to think about where you're going to reach your audiences. So if I were to superimpose these three things, customer journey, this is something that you might see. So if let's say I have a customer journey of content strategy, platform, and functionality. In content strategy will be basically storytelling. Telling what is it that you are selling, telling what is it that you want to sell to your customers in terms of videos, in terms of images, and whatever not that you have. And the functionality that you use would most basically be about branding yourself. A page that talks about your company, your brand, what products you have. Basically very important contact information, crucial business information. Also, if you want to establish authority, you might also want to think about the awards that you have garnered. Okay. Now, when you want to connect with your audiences, you must think about maybe certain chats, live chats, or emails, direct emails to the person that has come to your website. Now, the other things would be also, in order to engage your viewers, think about videos and write-ups that speaks volumes to the kind of audiences that come to you. Basically giving them content that they want, that they need, that they feel part of, that's relevant to them. Okay. Also understand about functionality of social media, the integration, the testimonials. You need to make sure that you are everywhere that your customer is, so that they will always remember you. The trick is to make sure that you stay at the minds of the customers all the time, sort of like top of mind. So when you talk about a certain product, your brand comes into their minds first. So use social media platforms to do this. Connect all your social media platforms while you're doing this. Also, if you want to ensure that your customers feel confident, make sure that the security of your platforms and the functionality of the platforms is very important. Other things would also be point of sales, payment gateway. Make it easy for your customers to want to buy your stuff. Okay. Again, these are the platforms that you use, chats, emails, and finally, to integrate all the social media, making sure that your customers feel that they know and they will be able to receive the best kind of service. It's like forming a journey with them, going on the journey with them, and forming the relationship with them as you go along. So that concludes this video on why we do digital marketing. Why is it so important to understand about our audience? So I'm going to give you some key takeaways from this video. Firstly, you have to understand that consumer behavior is changing, right? Online consumer behavior is changing, and there are customer journey and touch points for engagement, and you need to know where all these touch points are. Now, next part of the video, I am video number 2. If you take the time to just pause this video right now, and then the links will come up, I'm going to explain to you what are some of the mechanisms and what are some of the tools to build great content. They are all readily available and they are all free. You just have to take some time to do your own research. So thank you again. Do remember to subscribe and also allow yourself to start your own digital marketing journey. Thank you.